Hi everyone, today I'm going to explain to you guys about kernels, but first things first, let's change a little things up. That's better. Hi again, it's still me, but in an animated version. Today's contents are the following: introduction, examples of kernels, functions, types of kernels, custom kernel, and summary. Introduction. What is kernel? But before that, we need to acknowledge that computers are dumb. All they do is follow instruction, but when the instructions are completed, then it might seem like computers are capable, but in fact, they're just doing instructions one after another until it finishes. So computers need software to do everything, even when booting up. But when booting up a device, we tend to see only the surface of it, which are the apps, games, launcher, and etc. But there's a lot of stuff going on under it. For example, in Android, there's services such as Google Play services, and beneath that there's Java Virtual Machine, and beneath those two there's a kernel. What is a kernel actually? Kernel is a computer program at the core of a computer's operating system and has control over everything in the system. You can see a simplified diagram on the right side of the screen. So every multitasking operating system has a kernel. Next, we have examples of kernels. Okay, so to make this easier, I have chosen a few examples from each operating system. Microsoft uses NT kernel, while Android uses Linux kernel, and iOS uses Darwin kernel. Not only these kernels are available, there's other tons of kernels available, but be it custom or manufacturer made. Next, we have functions of kernels. I've listed out three main functions of kernel which manages resources such as CPU and memory resources. It also manages input and output of the system. Other than that, it has device drivers where it helps with networking. Next, it helps start the process of an app. This shows that this is the lowest layer above the CPU. Next, we have types of kernels. There's two types of kernels, microkernel and monolithic kernel. So microkernels are kernels that are in small memory spaces. It runs processes as a user space where drivers such as device drivers, networking drivers, file system drivers are running as a user level program and communicates with the kernel. This makes it have the ability when one of the components crashes, the kernel doesn't crash, but the downside of it is this type of kernel is slow. So monolithic kernels, on the other hand, all services occur in one program in one memory space. Imagine it as a big chunk of a memory space. It runs the operating system instruction in the same address space, opposite from microkernels. It is hard to add new functionalities, and if one component fails, it might affect the kernel, but it is a faster option compared to microkernels. Next, we have custom kernels. You can build your own kernel, and there's a whole community where they make custom kernels. Since it is open source, especially Android, making a custom kernel requires root access to your device. There are a few pros and cons to custom kernels. The pros are it can give you extra features if you know how to tweak an existing kernel or make your own kernel, then the sky is the limit. It gives you more flexibility, and it can benefit you in some way. Benefit here means at most times it's a trade-off. For example, if you make your own kernel have better performance, in most cases it will depreciate your battery life or vice versa. Next is cons of kernels. Cons of kernels are you need root and bootloader access, which will require skills, and you might end up with a forever bricked phone or device. If you are using someone else's custom ROM, then issues such as security and trust are going to be the main factor to think about, because you don't know what they tweak and add it into their custom kernel. So, summary. In conclusion, kernels are an important aspect in an operating system, and the technology we have now, without it, we might not have advanced technologies such as smartphones today. Thank you, and bye bye. Bye bye.